And once we get a little farther down, we're going to make a left. You can kind of see a red sign up there over by that checker, kind of just before that checkerboard box. That's where we're going to be making a left.
Bravo Alpha.
Bravo Alpha to runway 14.
I'm going to want to brake a little bit.
You know what? I'm pulling back your power right now, so the airplane's going to kind of slow down a little bit. You could just use rudder on this turn. I think you should be good.
Right here?
Yep, just kind of wait for that line to start its curve, and then you can start pushing on the rudder. Yep, just your feet. Good, I'm going to give you a little bit more power. These are all the Geico Sky Typers. Whenever you see them doing stuff in the sky, that's these airplanes. And we're going to take this all the way down. And right at the end where you see that airplane making a left, that's the run-up area. And what we're going to do there is stop the airplane and take the engine, run it up to a higher power setting, make sure that everything in here is working. We don't want to take a broken airplane flying.
Are these seats elevated at all? Because it's barely seeing over the top of the dash.
It does. I think it's all the way up, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, this is so cool. Rolling the aircraft with just my feet.
Yep. All right, I think he's pulling out, so we'll be able to slide in there next to that blue and white airplane. Alright, so just to start getting a feel, why don't you lift your feet up in the air and then press your toes on the tops of those brakes, nice and slow and even.
Cherokee 47687, Charlie ramp.
Yep, so you need a little bit more right brake. Okay, good, keep it rolling. And we're going to eventually pull up over here next to this blue and white plane, so don't start turning yet. Keep going straight. You could just let it roll. You don't really need any brake right now. Keep rolling, keep rolling.
687, probably ground. What's your position again, sir?
Keep rolling.
Oh yeah, Cherokee 476.
All right, now I want you to just use left rudder.
Next to the museum. Ready to taxi with information. Kilo.
Good. Keep turning. Good. Let it go straight. All right, now crank it left. Good. Very good. And come a little bit more left to help you out here. We just always want to leave ourselves enough room so that if for whatever reason he has a problem, we're not locked into being here. You know, we're not dependent upon his movement. All right, so we can kind of squeak by him. Now we're going to set the parking brake. That way we don't have to keep our feet on the brakes. Now we're going to do the ground run-up checklist. All right. So the parking brake I just set, okay, the mixture control is all the way full forward. So like I said, for the taxi and takeoff, we're going to give the engine as much fuel as we can possibly give it. Once we start going up in the atmosphere, we can start kind of bleeding the fuel back a little bit, okay? Fuel selector, like I said, we're going to leave it on the left tank for today's flight. Throttle, so here's your RPM gauge, okay? Take your throttle, put it up to 2,000 RPM. It'll tend to lag behind you a little bit, so kind of give it a little bit of power and then see what it gives you.
Check it up to 1 Mike Alpha ground. What's your position on the field?
And it's okay if you're within, you know, 20 or 30 RPM. I'd say 2020 is fine. Good. So you can take your hand off now. All right, we're going to check the oil temperature, so the engine's nice and warm now. Okay, oil pressure is good, fuel pressure is good, and like I said before, we got plenty of gas on board, so everything's looking good so far. All right, our suction gauge over here. This is basically indicating the health of our vacuum pump, okay? And our vacuum pump is providing suction air to make these two instruments indicate correctly. If we don't have enough suction air, then those two instruments really aren't going to work, okay? So that's another good check.
I thought you were behind that.
Annunciator lights up here. These are basically your cautionary lights. So these three lights are indicating an abnormality within these three systems: your vacuum pump, your alternator, and your oil pressure. All right, so we're just checking to make sure that the bulbs work, so they all do. It would be like the check engine light in your car being out, not knowing that something was wrong. All right. carburetor heat. So in an airplane, you do have the option to kind of run some warm air through the engine. Aircraft carburetors are susceptible to developing ice within them. Reason being is that as you go up in the atmosphere, you know, you could fly through moisture, and also a carburetor tends to drop the pressure within it as well. And when you drop the pressure, you drop the temperature, and so you can kind of have moisture flowing through there, get very cold, and pick up ice. So that would choke the engine of fuel and air. So we don't like that. So we want to use some carburetor heat and check to make sure that we got an RPM drop, which we did. We went from about 2010. 2020 all the way down to 1960. All right, and we're going to take the throttle, make sure that the airplane idles with carburetor heat. Okay, some, you know, airplanes, if the idle isn't set properly, will actually shut off if you don't, you know, like I said, have it set up properly, and you put the carburetor heat on and the engine will die. So we want to make sure that if we're using carb heat that the engine won't die if we pull the power all the way back. All right, so the ground run-up checklist is complete. Before we take off, going to quickly review the flight instruments with you one more time. Right, so you got your basic six-pack. On the takeoff, we're going to be using 60 knots as our rotation speed. Rotation speed is just a fancy term for slowly pulling the airplane off the ground. Okay. Yep. Just a very nice smooth motion. You know, no jerky kind of movements like that. So I'm going to let you do the takeoff. All right. I'm going to be doing your steering on the ground with the rudders just to make sure we track down the center line, because that could be a little difficult for some people on their first time. But you're going to control the rotation, like I said. All right. And we're going to be using an 80 knot climb out speed. So the two things you need to remember are 60 and 80. 60 and 80. All right. Attitude indicator, like we said, we can kind of peek at it, but not too important. Altimeter, we're going to climb up to maybe like if we're going to go by islip, we need to stay under, we need to be at like 1,200 feet. So if you want to do that, then we'll climb up to 1,200. Otherwise, I'll take you guys out to the practice area. We'll go up to like 3,500. So once we climb out, you let me know what you want to do. All right. Turn coordinator, banking instrument, and your basically your rudder indicator, you could call it. You know, the inclinometer down there. Okay, telling you which way you need to kick on the rudder. So if it kicks right, I want a right rudder. Yeah, and it swings left, you press on the left rudder. Very subtle. That's very subtle. Yep, you'll absolutely feel the effect, and you'll see the ball swing right into place. All right. Okay. Okay. Just going to double check this heading indicator one more time. At 105 degrees, and I'm bugging our runway heading here. 140 degrees is the runway we're taking off from 14. All right, and the vertical speed indicator, hundreds of feet per minute in a climb or a descent.
All right. Continue your taxi behind the opposite direction.
We'll continue to taxi beyond the opposite.
All right, I'm going to release the parking brake. You can taxi us up there to runway 14. Okay, so just start left. Yep, giving yourself a little bit of left rudder pressure. Good. Good, now you can start swinging it a little bit back to the right, and we're going to hold short at this line, meaning we're going to stop the aircraft before we actually get across that line.
Republic Tower, Ventura 5, number 1 on the outside of 14, ready for takeoff. Ventura 5, Republic Tower, hold short. Hold short, Ventura 5.
Good, so start pressing on those brakes.
3974, you northbound now, west of the final?
Roger, 974. We're east.
Good, keep your feet on the brakes.
Okay, who's the 1,100-foot traffic there, just north of the, south of the inner shoreline? 79, just watch for traffic if that's you. They're 12 o'clock less than a mile south on 1,200, probably a Cherokee.
Yeah, so I'd say this is like your neutral position, and then from here you're just slowly pushing back.
On the east side of the final.
Okay, well, there's somebody else out there 1,100 feet. Hey, 149 Robbie, just watch traffic coming up.
I'm sure as a cameraman you'd want to be pretty smooth with your movements too, right? So kind of same thing, treat the airplane the same way, kind of finesse it. No real jerky movements, no, you know, big forces on the controls.
Maybe it'd be best to do the right downwind or left?
Whatever's easy for you. I guess you're on the west side then.
Yeah, I was on the west side. I just didn't know if you wanted me to. We'll do the right downwind.
Okay, just watch. You got another aircraft coming up 12 o'clock less than a mile, Cherokee.
I have him.
Okay.
Waiting for him?
Most likely, yeah.
That markers when you need to make your turn to line up the runway?
To line up the runway?
Yeah.
There's only things to help you laterally if you're in instrument conditions.
679,
Like if you're just shooting a visual approach, there's really nothing visually in front of you to help you out. But you do have approach path indicators, which are a series of 4 lights on the side of the runway that'll change colors as you go above or below a certain glide path.
Is that they call it the ILS?
The ILS incorporates that light system, but the ILS is actually just the system that'll emit the beams that allow the airplane to kind of track toward the runway on a certain glide path or laterally on the localizer.
Sequencing runway 14.
Right, report 5, north sequencing for 140 Delta Kilo, thank you.
That coming in. No.
Yep, that's a Beechcraft King Air.
Kilo 59 Delta 1 departure prior to you, Robbie, you're number 1 now.
Roger, 59 Delta, got the traffic inside.
Yawing a little bit. But yaw.
Ventura 5, runway 14, line up and wait, Cessna right down.
Line up and wait, runway 14, Ventura 5.
Do you have it now? Or?
I'm just increasing your throttle. I want you to keep going straight.
Okay.
He told us to line up and wait, so that means pull onto the runway, get yourself aligned with the runway, and then once you get a takeoff clearance, then you can go. But for now, we have to wait.
Alright, sounds good. 609.
Flight 850. If you're
Good, you can kind of follow the line here to the right.
Alpha 5 comes ground, sound 550.
And as soon as he gets off the runway, we'll get our takeoff clearance. So I want your left hand on the controls, and then when I give it to you, your right hand's going to throw on the throttle. Again, I'm going to do your steering on the takeoff.
Service Republic Tower, put left downwind for runway 14.
Left downwind for 14, Cherokee 556 Whiskey.
All right, put your hand on the throttle.
Takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 14, Ventura 5.
All the way up.
Base your discretion, clear touch and go.
All right, left hand on the controls and right hand on the throttle. All right, remember, I'm doing your steering so you can release the pressure on the controls. Now keep your left hand here.
Number 3 following your Cherokee. He's a beam to the left on the right down.
You can relax your pressure on the rudder pedals. I got the pedals. All right. No, left hand on the controls. Good. All right, there's 60. Slowly pull back.
Cherokee 47687 Republic Tower, Charlie, runway 14, clear to take off.
Good. Very good. There, you're off. All right, so just push forward a little bit. All right, nice and smooth, nice and smooth.
74, thank you.
Push forward. We just want to be able to see the end of the runway in front of us.
And he's just crossing the park right now, keep you advised.
There you go. And again, we're going to try and hold 80 knots in our climb out. All right, so obviously with full power, we can't give the engine any more power, so the only way to change our airspeed is to control our pitch. So if we continue to pitch up and fight gravity, we'll slow down. If we continue to push forward and accelerate, with gravity, your airspeed is going to increase. All right, release your pressure a little bit. You're very tight on the controls.
3974, just stay close behind that aircraft number 3.
All right, this is perfect right here. Just try and hold this and use your eyes and look outside. You keep the airplane level just by using your eyes outside. I really don't want you too much in here. I'd say about 3/4 of your attention should be outside and about 25% inside. All right, pretty good. This is our heading that we want to fly, so come back a little bit to the left. Very good. You'll notice that the airplane is a little bit different than a car in that when you want to turn, you don't have to keep the airplane cranked over. Where in your car with the steering wheel, you need to keep turning it, okay? Once you turn the airplane, it'll kind of settle into the turn and continue to turn without you really having to keep the controls there. You can kind of return them almost to neutral and the airplane should continue to turn.
About your 10 o'clock, 4 miles, I keep you advised.
Roger, looking.
All right, let's come right about 20 degrees. We're going to head out more toward the water right here.
3974, Fable.
So just a nice, very lazy right turn. All right, now take a look at this little inclinometer here. It's pretty good, but the ball's slightly out to the right. So I want you to just very softly apply a little pressure. Good. You see that ball kind of swinging?
10 o'clock, 2 miles.
Good.
Turning on to a mile final.
Roger that.
And then you have to hold that pressure there. All right, level your wings and look outside. All right. right, so you guys come to a consensus as far as where you want to go?
679, say destination.
We'll stay along South Shore here.
Disable
Yeah.
Bravo to Atlantic and
Right, Matt?
stay with me.
Do you want to go out toward Fire Island, or do you want to kind of shoot out toward Jones Beach, or?
Good days about 4
About
mile
east.
final.
Okay, all right, give me a left turn. You see Captree Monument and the bridge over there?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you give me a left turn out toward there? Very nice and lazy.
Republic Tower, Cherokee 149 Romeo, Capture Bridge, and down with Kilo.
8149 Romeo, Republic Tower.
Good, so we're at 1,500 now. We're going to keep climbing up, unless you guys want to stay low. It's up to you.
This is a comfortable altitude for me.
Okay, all right, then slowly push forward on the controls.
And close to the airport is Pilatus, about 10 west. They'll follow you.
Okay, we'll keep it
All right.
59 and Delta.
Next thing I'm doing, while you're leveling off the airplane, I'm just kind of simultaneously reducing your power.
About 10 west of the airport.
All right.
Keep you advised.
We don't need to talk to Republic anymore. We're out of their airspace. So,
74, what's your destination?
as I'm relaxing the power, you should feel, yeah, he's a heavy going at the JFK. As I'm relaxing the power, you should kind of feel like the airplane has less of a tendency to want to keep pitching up on you, okay? I want you to totally let go of the controls. Okay, how does the airplane feel? It feels like it pretty much wants to stay level right now, okay?
Absolutely.
That trim wheel that I showed you is right down here in between our legs. Take a look, Chris. All right? So if you were to want to use the trim... Yeah, that wheel right here.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So if the airplane were really fighting you and it were to want to pitch up, okay, you'd be trimming the wheel and rotating it toward the front of the airplane. Okay.
Say that again.
So if the airplane's pitching up on you like this,
that, right.
you'd want to rotate the wheel toward the front of the airplane. Okay. But right now, since the airplane really isn't fighting us too much, it's kind of settled in here, right where we want it. We really don't need to trim it all.
Okay.
We can actually go a little bit lower. So what I'm going to do is, here, you take your hand and I want you to rotate that trim wheel one full rotation toward the front. Like grab it all the way from the back and rotate it toward the front of the plane. And I want you to just kind of let the airplane settle into very, very shallow descent. Yep, keep going.
The runway's good or golf taxiway contact ground.
Good. So now you can see that the airplane, now you're being able to see more of the horizon out in front of you, right? And now you can see here on these two instruments, we're showing a descent, right? We're in a descent here at about 400 feet per minute. Altimeter's decreasing. Your airspeed's picking up a little bit. That makes sense, right?
Yes.
Kind of going with gravity, powering yourself toward the ground. Airplane's going to want to accelerate. All right? And our goal should be, we're going to go down to 1,200 feet, okay? And we're going to kind of cruise over the bay right here. And we'll be below the Class Charlie airspace. All right, so keep your hands on the controls. You're still flying the airplane. I'm just backing up the power a little bit. That should help the airplane kind of want to descend. You see that airplane about 12 o'clock, kind of moving from right to left?
No, not yet.
He should be 12 o'clock, a little bit lower than us, moving from left to right. All right, so that's a great example of having to look outside, okay? There's a ton of airplanes out here in the practice area, especially on a beautiful weekend day like today. Everybody and their mothers out in the practice area. So it's really important, even to not only to fly the airplane, but also to look for traffic, okay? Because we're operating VFR. So under visual flight rules, we don't have air traffic giving us all these traffic advisories unless I specifically request it. And it's not something that they really are interested in doing right now. They're very busy with their workload as far as managing traffic into Kennedy and LaGuardia, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to leave them alone right now. We're just going to kind of do our thing and keep our eyes peeled for other airplanes. I have all the lights on the exterior of the airplane turned on, so we're really nice and visible. There's a very bright landing light on the front of the airplane.
Can we go out a little bit further on onto the ocean and have this stuff to our left?
Absolutely. Yeah, so you can see here's the end of the Robert Moses Parkway right there. That should be Heckscher over there. You see what I mean as far as being smooth? I could tell your pressure on the controls has really decreased a lot since when we first took off. Okay, just very nice, smooth motions. You know, the airplane is always going to want to fly, and it always wants to return to kind of where you started with it. You know, if you displace it left or displace it right, it's going to want to return to where you put it a little bit, okay? So don't be scared as far as making controls. Like a lot of people think if you turn it a lot, it's just going to start falling. It's really not the truth. The wings are still producing a lot of lift. They're just kind of lifting you sideways instead. So the airplane will just kind of go like this, okay? So just very nice small changes. Altitude is kind of your discretion. I will say don't go below 600. By law, we can't be lower than 500, so just to kind of give us a buffer, we'll say 6. There's another helicopter right there. Keep an eye out.
This is unbelievable.
Nice, right? Beats the hell out of sitting at home.
Oh my God. You have no idea. You have no idea what I'm going through now. The emotions.
Good. Well, I'm glad you were able to come out here and do this today. And you got it on video.
And I'm glad to be with you.
Looking for the blotter, so keep it in time.
Matt, what do you look at this? Look at this. I mean, we've never seen.
It's a little wide there.
We've never seen the great view. View like this before.
It is. It's a tremendous view, and not that many people are fortunate enough to ever get to be up in the air and really get this perspective. You know, even when you fly commercial, it's a very quick transition from being low level to being high level, and then you really don't understand what you're looking at anymore. Even me, you know, I try to figure out like where I am at all times. You know, I'm Johnny Pilot over here, you know, trying to be aware of everything, and you know, it's kind of just not the same. You know, when you can stay low level and actually, you know, when you're familiar with the area, you can see landmarks, you see things that are familiar to you. It's really a great time.
Indeed.
Now, obviously, this is your flight, so I want to let you do whatever you want. Generally, when I come out with people, I'll kind of show them slow flight and how to fly the plane slow and maybe do a steep turn or two, but I want you to use today to do whatever you want. So you let me know what you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with doing. If you just want to keep cruising the shore until we have to go back, then that's perfectly fine with me.
I don't think we have to get into acrobatics.
No acrobatics.
I know, but steep turns and...
Okay. All right, just watch your altitude a little bit. We're getting a little bit low. So just try to keep it, I would say 600 or above. Also, too, you know, with the single-engine airplane, you always want to be thinking worst-case scenario. So if the engine were to decide to stop working on us, okay, we always want to be able to have enough altitude where we can make a really good decision about where we can put the airplane. Okay, in an airplane, altitude is always your friend. So if the worst happens, then the more you know feet you have between you and the ground, the better. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, when the engine fails, that the airplane just hits the ground, and you know, it couldn't be farther from the truth, but at, you know, 500, 600, 700 feet, you know, you are kind of limited as far as what you're going to do.
Want to go up higher?
No, this is fine. I think we're good right here. Just can't go any lower. I think that's the ferry right there.
Current heading 513 Charlie Bravo.
Have you guys spent any time on Fire Island?
Not a lot.
No?
Not lately.
Yeah.
I think the last time we were out there, that the wind was blowing towards the ocean, and all the mosquitoes were coming out of the, I guess, the bush area.
Oh, yeah?
We just got eaten alive.
That sucks.
Bugs. I guess they were some kind of but it was biting the heck out of us.
Oh, yeah?
Now, can I trim this out at 600 feet?
Sure. So first I want you to let go. That's the most important thing, is actually see what the airplane's giving you. Okay, it seems like it wants to pitch down. So you then you should keep a hand on the flight controls just to kind of increase your pressure and hold it, and then trim it and release and see what it wants to do, and kind of go back and forth with it.
Now trimming it, I would roll the dial forward, right?
Forward is going to make the nose want to go down.
Down, right.
Okay,
right.
So
back,
taking it and trimming it back toward you is raising the nose up.
Right.
Yeah, so all those days that you were at the beach watching these little things fly around, this is you today. Roll reversal. Matt, do you ever get a chance to go flying in the helicopters?
Sikorsky used to do that about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They stopped doing it for insurance reasons.
Oh. That sucks.
It's a very small list.
Now, what is that, a Sikorsky repair facility?
No, that's their main engineering development.
Oh, okay.
Up in Connecticut.
Nice.
We have up there, and we're down in West Palm Beach.
Nice. Yeah, Bell's down in Florida too, right?
Bell is in Texas.
Oh, are they?
Sikorsky.
Oh, you know what it was? My friend used to work for them, and he was at a repair facility, and that was in, I think he was in Lauderdale.
Gotcha.
How do you like working for them?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it.
Good company? It's not always the case in aviation.
It's a large company.
Yeah.
It's part of United Technologies.
There's somebody up there, looks like a little Robinson. Well, or 22 or something.
That's turning base, clear to land, 294 Mike Echo.
So where's Islip from here? Where's the airport? I think the airport, we're probably about to beam it right now. I think that's it, right off our wingtip. You can kind of see that clearing in the middle of the island.
Yeah.
So that's Islip right there. We're just going to keep this helicopter inside. I don't know what he's doing. Looks like he's descending now, pretty rapidly actually.
Alpha thrust runway 14. Runway.
Wow.
To Echo monitor.
Where's he going? We're racing him. He's losing. There's that big dump over there by, what airport is that?
Brookhaven?
Brookhaven, yeah. Right by Shirley. Now, is that farther east of you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what we're probably going to do is eventually hang a left and go along the inner shoreline here.
06 line up and wait.
One departure, Mike.
Let me know when you want to do that.
Okay. Well, would you rather go out there, or do you want to actually do some, you know, kind of more of a lesson type thing?
We can do a lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you apply full power? Let's start there. So take the power, go all the way as far up as it'll go.
I see him pulling.
Okay. You're going to feel like the airplane's nose wants to naturally rise on its own, okay? Yeah, keep going with the power as much as you can give the airplane. Okay, you can see that the airplane on its own has kind of started to climb, okay, and that's perfectly fine. All I want you to do is kind of manage your pitch so that the airspeed settles in around 80 knots, okay? We talked about before that at full power, all you can do is manipulate your pitch attitude.
We're way over 80 now.
Okay, so then all you need to do is maybe give it a, no, keep the throttle where it is and just change your pitch. So maybe it's only a degree or two that you need to actually change your pitch attitude, but you need to hold it there. Don't kind of do this, because otherwise it's never going to settle into an airspeed. And you can help yourself out with some trim too. If it feels like the airplane's not doing what you want it to do, then help it out with trim.
Yes, sir, ultimate.
I'm guessing, well, release the airplane, see what it wants to do.
Right, traffic 1.
Does it want to dive or does it want to climb?
Right now it's climbing.
Okay, then I'd say leave it right where it is. Okay.
05 then Delta, please touch and go, stay close.
All right, keep pulling back very slightly.
Pull back?
Yeah. Well, because you're at 100, right? So you got to trade some energy. You got to trade airspeed for climb rate.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So at full power, all you're doing is changing pitch. So as you increase your pitch, you're going to allow that airspeed to bleed off a little bit.
Right track.
All right, let's start a very lazy right turn and kind of head out back in the other direction. All right, you're going to need a little right rudder in this turn to help you out, or keep this helicopter in sight right here. Okay, so a little right rudder and a little right aileron. And obviously we have to continue to climb. We want to probably settle in at about 2,500, so we'll be there in a minute or two. Good, keep pulling back. All right, and like I said before, try and look outside as much as possible. And when you're parallel to the shoreline again, just start cranking in a little bit of left aileron, and then you'll level your wings.
Side on 1609.
Good, and we want to stay up in that climb, okay? So you see how we're doing about 105 knots? Okay, trade some of that pitch for airspeed. So go up. We want to relax the airspeed, kind of slow down a little bit, and start that climb. There you go. Now you see the shoreline over here. You see how we're kind of going a little bit toward it? I want you to give me a little bit of a left turn so that we're paralleling it. And you could use this visor if you'd like. Good. All right. So we're at 1,700. We still need to climb. We got about another 800 feet to go. Okay.
All right,
Perfectly normal for the nose to come up above the horizon. Like I said before, kind of keep your head on a swivel. Judge your wingtips with the horizon and be able to tell whichever wing is dipped, you know that's the direction of turn that you're traveling. Okay, so your left wing's up above the horizon. Okay, your right wing's down low. So what does that mean?
Capture bridge at 1300.
Okay, but you're in a turn. What I'm saying is that you need to just kind of level the wings and parallel the shoreline. We can't penetrate the shoreline because of ice slips airspace. Nice and easy. Good. Just hold it. Just hold it right here. Okay. Good, you got 200 feet to go. Don't level off yet. All right, you see us rotating? If you don't hold the left aileron in there, it seems like the airplane wants to roll. All right, we're almost there at 2,500. Good. So now that we've reached our altitude, you know, our target altitude, we're going to slowly pitch forward again, just like we did coming out of the airport before. We think of a level off as pitch, power, and trim. Okay, number one, pitch. So we're pitching for level flight, which we are. Power, I want you to take your throttle and bring it back to about 2,200 RPM. The first inch or so isn't going to do anything, so just kind of pull it back and then, you know, you could tweak it. Yep, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. Yeah, keep pulling, keep pulling.
Cherokee right down with turning base.
There you go. All right, so now you can see we're actually getting some sort of effect on that throttle. Come back to 22, and just, you're trying to rotate the airplane to the right. I'm just trying to help you keep it there. All right, so about 22 is a nice healthy power setting for cruise. Even where you got it right now is pretty good. Anywhere between 21 and 2,500 RPM is suitable for cruise. All right. All I'm going to do is have you make some level turns. Very basic stuff. Okay. So first thing, let's try and make a nice 90-degree level turn out to the south. Okay. So all you're going to do is crank in a little bit of left aileron. Very nice lazy turn.
Without delay, clear for takeoff. Traffic 3/4 mile final.
Without delay, clear for takeoff.
Good. You probably shouldn't need too much rudder in this turn, and then pull back on the controls a little bit. When you see you're descending, you could do one of two things. You can kind of relax your pressure, or you could pull back on the controls, both of which will help you stop from descending. All right, look outside, find your shoreline. Look that way. All right. When you're 90 degrees to it, just level your wings. Like right about here. Okay, now let's go back to the right. Nice lazy right turn. You got another airplane over there, so we'll keep him in sight.
It's 689, you can continue to descend, see traffic.
Good, so pull back on the controls a little bit. That'll help pull the nose through the turn and kind of keep you pretty level. Good. All right, keep the turn coming around so that you're pointed right at the shoreline. Just keep your head on a swivel, always be looking outside. Every now and then you can kind of peek back in at your flight instruments, but most importantly that you're looking outside. Very good. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit more power, and I want you to start slowly climbing back up to 2,500. So just naturally let the airplane kind of pitch up a little bit on its own. Okay. And so now that your view is kind of limited in front of you, try to look outside a little bit more to your left or to your right to judge the airplane's attitude, you know, if it's banking or if its wings level. Good, you're really close to 80, so that's very good. private pilot test standards are always keeping whatever airspeed it is that we want you to hold within 10 knots. So if you can be at 70 or 90, anywhere in between there, then that's private pilot PTS. Good, so there's 25. Slowly let your nose forward. And start a left turn for me, just so that we kind of fly over top of the shoreline westbound.
So 9563 Alpha Republic Tower, report 5 north, sequencing runway 14.
Good.
445 north for sequence.
All right, now you can kind of return your controls to neutral and just let the airplane do its thing in the turn.
300, that Cessna's on a mild final touch and go.
Very good. Held your altitude really well on that turn, but keep turning, keep turning.
0, looking for 5.
All right, and now you want to be able to see the horizon, right? We want to be in level flight. So kind of push forward on the controls. Don't let the airplane enter you in a climb. All right, come left a little bit.
689, turn right at Alpha 5, then you can taxi via Alpha Golf 319 to Atlantic. Monitor ground point 6 as you go.
Alpha 5, Gil.
Good.
Atlantic, monitor ground, 689.
All right, now let's practice a descent. So I want you to take your power, and I want you to pull it back until you see about 1,800 RPM.
Just about a beam to you right now, I'll give you advice.
Okay, roger, 12, take no problem. Hey, Tower 1, Mike Alpha's land, 12 for 1-4 with traffic outside.
Mike Alpha, thank you. Number 3 behind that aircraft.
Good, you feel the airplane naturally now wanting to descend. The nose wants to drop, okay?
Yep.
So the less engine power that you have, the more the airplane wants to descend.
Right.
The more engine power you have in, the more it wants to just naturally start a climb. All right? And so let's try and shoot for maybe about a 500 foot per minute descent. Right now we're doing about 200 feet per minute. That's pretty good. All you have to do is just adjust your pitch a little bit. Nose the airplane down just about another degree or so. All right, and then you should be right there at about 500 feet per minute, which you are. Great.
The Cessna, it's about 3 miles south.
All we're going to do is continue to parallel the shoreline.
5 out from me, we got him in sight.
Okay, 5560 Whiskey's clear to take off. Traffic ahead's making a right turn.
Take off for runway 14, 560 Whiskey.
300, maybe at the microwave today.
Republic Air Information Lima 2053 Zulu, wind 130 at 7, visibility 10, sky clear, temperature 19er, dew point 11, altimeter 3010. Visual approach use, landing and departing runway 14. No TAMS, IFR departures, advise ground control for taxi to true IFR. Read back all runway hold short instructions, runway assignments and altitude assignments. Advise Republic Tower on initial contact that you have information, Lima.
Cool, so we're kind of right back where we started here by Captree. This is like home base for the South Practice Area, okay?
Right.
I mentioned the South Practice Area before, and the reason that it's designated as a practice area is because it's clear of Islip's airspace over there,
Correct.
okay, which we said comes out to the shoreline. It goes all the way up to 4,000. It's clear of JFK's airspace, which pretty much goes until this little inlet right here, and it starts at 1,500 feet, okay? And it's clear of Republic's airspace because Republic has a 5 nautical mile radius of airspace that goes up to 2,600 feet. So it's a lot to contend with, and so if you can just get clear of all that, come out here over the water, it's really great, especially from an instructor standpoint, because then your student has the flexibility to kind of do what they want, change altitudes, change headings, not worry about playing in anybody's sandbox. All right, so let's bang a right turn. We're going to go north. You can kind of parallel this bridge right here, that twin span bridge.
3080, you have the citation in sight, departing full length. Right there, you see the citation departing.
Yeah, traffic inside, 0.
Good, and then just keep that descent coming down.
Split touch and go 14 and make right.
I'm going to give you a little bit more power so we pick up a little bit of speed.
Go 14, I still have
521 Mike Alpha, start your base now, clear to land.
Wings up in the turn now, clear to land, 521 Mike Alpha.
5 Alpha, running, maybe
complete the
square it
turn?
up a bit.
Nope, just keep going straight, kind of parallel the bridges.
Oh, parallel bridge.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Fire from you, square it off for left base.
Maybe 30 degrees to your right.
Yeah, that should be Ocean Parkway right here.
2 Alpha Victor, you're passing Bethpage, start your base turn now, please.
Starting base turn, not 12-6.
68823, contact departure, have a good flight.
Hold departure, 823.
Good, every now and then peek back in here, make sure you're still in that descent.
Public Tower, Ventura 5, Captree Lima, full stop.
Ventura 5, Republic Tower, report the left down for runway 14.
Left down 14 Ventura 5.
180 Sierra, you got a Cessna there about your 11 o'clock?
All right, so we're going to pick out a couple landmarks to fly toward for now, okay? So keep the descent coming down. We're going to, you could almost count them off, like 1, 2, 3, the third like inlet in and canal, and I want you to just fly right toward it, okay? So count 3 off from the bridge, and then point the nose at it.
About your 11 o'clock, 2 miles.
I would say if you were to kind of do it with a heading, go about right in that direction. Yeah, like this big inlet right here, this little canal.
6 mile final.
Okay, 55 Delta.
563 Alpha, the...
Whenever you head in and out of this airport, you have to abide by certain arrival and departure procedures. And most of them are just dependent upon visual references. So we have a lake out here that we look for, and then we track toward the landfill that's right by the airport, and get back, you know, by use of little checkpoints along the ground.
You need to west turn a couple of times there for spacing. You're a little bit close to them.
Okay,
I'm really surprised about how close
if you haven't already joined final.
Below the nose.
Yeah.
You know.
Then,
yeah, honestly,
you're following a series.
A lot of people will use seat cushions.
88 Sierra, Roger, looking for traffic.
Especially shorter people.
On the left down when I keep you
I'm lining myself with the canal.
Yeah, you can actually see a little body of water right out in front of us at about 12 o'clock in a couple of miles. You can go right at that. And where we're at right now is about 1,200 feet, and we're going to level off at 1,100.
3 o'clock now and a mile modified base.
And we'll turn 260, 63 Alpha.
Victor, maybe continue west turn if you need to. 059 Delta, when you come out of the turn, you'll see the Cirrus coming up on your right side there. He's 4 mile final now.
Oh, just so we're looking for the traffic. Okay.
All right, just stay close behind him, 59 Delta. There's the Sundowner about 5 north to follow you.
Very good, headed right toward it. Okay, then if you actually look a little bit more farther north, there's a water tower. You see that one? There's a small body of water just to the right of it. Okay, point the nose of the airplane right at that body of water. We call that Belmont Lake.
Oh, sure.
And 59 Delta is clear touch and go. He's just to your right.
Yeah, I've got him inside. I'm following him behind him. Clear touch and go.
It's actually, it looks pretty small from here, but once you get over top of it, you can see that there's a little island on the north side, and that's how we kind of discern it from other little bodies of water around here.
Enter left base for 14.
They do that, 88 Sierra. Join, turn right now and then join a left base for 14. It's going to follow Cessna on a 4 mile final.
Okay, 88 Sierra, Roger. We'll follow the Cessna. Looking for traffic.
Thank you. And 9563 Alpha, turn to your left now. Turn southbound to join final. The Sundowner is over the expressway.
And we'll turn south to join final 63 Alpha.
Okay, thanks.
Republic Tower, Cessna 130 Juliet Alpha, 1 north of Cap 2 Bridge, and down with Lima. Request touch and go.
30 Juliet Alpha, I'll keep you advised on the touch and goes. Doesn't look good right now. Report the left down for runway 14.
Good. Let the airplane descend. That'll kind of help you out with being able to see. If you keep climbing, then the nose is going to kind of obstruct your view of the horizon.
Cross 19 up there at the end.
And then as soon as we get over top of Belmont, we're going to bang a left toward the landfill that you should be seeing at about 10 to 11 o'clock.
Good land. Just give yourself some space. The BBS turning out there. It's a little bit tight.
With Lima.
With Lima, I cut you out. Say it again.
It's 325 to Quebec, 3 miles east of the Deer Park VOR inbound for Lima.
25 to Quebec. That heading is good. Join the left down for runway 14. You're going to follow traffic. Cherokee's near Belmont Lake. I'll keep you advised.
Roger. Continue on this.
Good. So we should be pretty much over top of it now. So you can point your nose of the airplane right at that smoke.
200 inbound for landing.
5560 Whiskey Republic Tower, right, Dan?
Ident 60 Whiskey. Turkey 56679, holding short Alpha 14.
56679 Republic Tower, hold short.
Hold short.
Great. Keep turning.
Tower, Cherokee 080, the right downwind for 14.
080, we're going to follow a Cessna. He's 5 mile final. I'll keep you advised.
080 will follow a Cessna.
Okay, thank you.
Republic Tower, Science 212.
Yeah.
See it, Matt?
394 Republic Tower, give me a call just north of the mall, 6 miles north for a...
Yeah, you can actually fly up and down the Hudson and the East River if you want to.
560 Whiskey Report, left downwind for runway 14. Right, Dan, again, please, I missed the first one.
What?
Today?
No, not today. But...
That's a long way to go.
Yeah.
I dent in the 60 Whiskey.
There's a lot of traffic there. I want to stay away from there, man.
60 Whiskey, yes. Report the right down. 556 Whiskey, runway 14.
All those helicopters?
Oh, yeah, those sightseeing helicopters.
Yeah.
Cool, just drop down another couple 100 feet. All right, now the runway that we want to be paralleling is this one right out here. It says 32 on it. We just want to kind of hang a right and kind of parallel it. Should be about halfway out on your wing.
Inside?
Traffic inside, 080.
Ventura 5, you're just coming up on the downwind now?
That's us.
Ventura 5 is going to follow a Cessna, correction, a Cherokee on the right downwind. He's just to beam the microwave, but he's on the right downwind.
Okay, we can make a short approach if that works.
Well, I'll keep you advised. Just continue on the left downwind for now.
Roger that. We got the traffic in the opposite downwind, Ventura 5.
Very good.
All right, so come a little bit more to the left.
Take it back. That heading's good. He's 12 o'clock, 3 miles to you.
And that airplane, I believe the one that's at 10 to 11 o'clock right there above the skyline is the one that we're following.
Disregard.
So he's probably going to...
south of Belmont Lake. Is that...
probably going to be making a turn soon, and then we're going to follow him. He's not as far as he looks right now.
1 o'clock, 3 miles. He's north of Belmont.
You see this little missile silo in front of you almost looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, you can point the nose of the airplane right at that. I think it's actually like, it disperses the gases in that little landfill. Yep.
493 Yankee.
493 Yankee.
93 Yankee 11 northwest, inbound landing, Lima.
That's good.
6493 Yankee, join final for runway 19.
19, 96. 12 right downwind.
Who's that, 5 to Quebec?
You see that, where the inlet is over there with that little house? Well, not little, but it's a building right over there. That's Ohika Castle.
Lopez, beam the approach end.
You're going to follow traffic on the left downwind near the microwave. Make
What?
full
He
stop
owned
this
that,
time, 2 hours.
the fellow, that millionaire, the Aga Khan. Owned that.
To your left or right at the runway intersection,
The old
contact ground.
golden age of mansions.
205, you got the
Old
microwave?
post mansions.
That's us.
That's your base, clear to land.
Turn to base, clear to land, Ventura 5.
080, make it a
All right,
full
let's
stop,
start a left
clear to
turn.
land.
Clear to land, 080.
You're on the right downwind, just past the
Pulling
number.
up as I turn to compensate
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit.
12 Victor, just past numbers.
Keep an eye out for the runway. We just want to be 90 degrees to it.
2 Alpha Victor, you're going to follow
Almost like
traffic
flying a
on the,
rectangle, you know?
left base over the microwave.
That was our long section. This is our short section.
Make it a full stop this time.
All right, keep turning.
I'm not picking up the
080,
runway.
full stop
Okay.
this time, clear to land.
Runway's right over there.
Clear to land, 080.
6493 Yankee, join final. You're going to follow traffic. He's on the right downwind. Just slow it up a bit.
Where's the airplane we're following?
The Cherokee.
He's in front of us.
Coming up on best page.
He passed over our side.
Roger, do you say 19er or 14?
All right, just let the nose down a little bit, and now turn left again, and you should start to line up with the runway. You see it?
Okay, I got it.
All right, so turn left.
5 to Quebec is looking, and I'm on the left downwind for 14.
Okay. Top 563 Alpha, contact ground.
Alpha Northwood, over ground.
You hear how busy it is at this freaking zoo?
Over the mall now.
All right, keep turning.
That'll be a 3904.
394, just turn to your left, circumnavigate to the east, and give me a call. Just coming up on the left down for runway 14. It's a little bit crowded out there now.
You want me to enter left downwind for 14, 394.
6493 Yankee.
Good, so those were the lights that I'm talking about, where 2 red and 2 white is optimal. That's what you want, is so that you're on glide path, 2 red, 2 white, okay?
Nope.
With the Centurion traffic.
All right, I'm going to take the flight controls, okay?
Yep.
All right, very good job, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, Drew.
You're welcome.
Quebec, ident.
Make sure there's nobody out in front of us.
5 to Quebec,
I think I see our traffic on the runway.
To the right at Bravo, contact ground. 325 to Quebec, just turn toward the expressway now. You're going to follow Centurion, he's on final.
5 to Quebec.
And 1300 Alpha, your traffic's a little wide to your right there. I'll keep you advised. That heading's good for now.
We have the traffic. We'll maintain the heading 130 Juliet Alpha.
Okay. 5560 Whiskey, midfield on the right downwind.
Return 5560 Whiskey.
Ident, please.
Ident 60 Whiskey.
Thank you. And 93 Yankee, keep up the speed, clear to land. Traffic's about 3 ahead of you.
Now keep it up, 93.
Honda Delta is also on the right downwind. We've got the traffic in front. We're making a full stop.
9 Delta, yeah, where are you now on the downwind? I lost you.
So we just beamed the microwave, I would say.
Right downwind?
Affirmative, sir.
You got traffic just ahead of you now, about a mile ahead of you.
Got the traffic, we're wing on wing. He's on the final, so I'm on the downwind.
You're on the down. You got traffic just ahead of you, 1600.
Affirmative, so we got him as well. It's fine.
Okay, 302 Alpha Victor, you just passed in Frick now, 1600.
Affirm, 2 Alpha 6.
That's your base now.
Turn base now, 2 Alpha 6.
325, take it back your base now, clear to land.
5 to Quebec, clear to land. I have somebody very close to me in the front on final.
I took it back, yeah, you're just turning base at the microwave?
Yeah, affirmative, and I'm going to be turning.
That's fine. That aircraft is, disregard 5 to Quebec. That's a Cherokee turning final?
I am turning final. I'm a Cherokee.
All right. Extend your
We're going to play chicken with this airplane.
I lost sight of you out there. Sure, 5 continues to the ramp, contact ground.
I'm going to be worried.
You want us to give way?
5 to Quebec is on final. Do you want me to make a Niner turn right at Gulf 6?
Now, are you hearing the stop? Are you hearing the stop and let him?
I'm just stopping. It's always safe, better safe than sorry.
I thought.
Ground Ventura 5 at the Bravo taxiway. Are we pulling up, or what's going on with this other airplane?
Ventura 5, turn left on Alpha, runway 1 southbound to Ventura, turn right at Bravo 4.
Roger that. Left turn Alpha southbound on runway 1 and Bravo 4 into the ramp Ventura 5.
Cherokee 4300, did you copy taxi instructions, sir?
0 at 0.
Okay, we're clear. There's no dummies on the wrong runway. Good.
0, we're taxi
right.
Bravo, right on Bravo 1, left on 1.
All right, so remember how to taxi this thing?
Charlie, 0.
Just using your feet.
00.
You could try to stay on the center line there as your goal. I'll give you a little bit of power here. We're just going to go straight down the runway, and down there we're going to make a right turn off, and there's our building over there on the right, just to give you an idea of where we're at on the airport.
Ground 193 Yankee cleared the main, go to Atlantic.
Service 6493 Yankee Charlie ground, runway 1 southbound to Atlantic.
I'm sorry. What was this control for?
This control is actually an electric trim, so instead of using your hand, you could use that button. But
Going down for the wheel?
yeah, right. But you know, as a first-time pilot, you know, you don't really get a feel of what you're doing with the button. You have to kind of use your hand to get a feel.
Lima Charlie at Atlantic. Leah power departure, Lima.
Number 69 Lima Charlie, Charlie ground, runway 14, taxi via Bravo.
I feel the airplane wanting to go left.
Baron.
All right, we're going to make this turn right here.
All right, 14 via Bravo, Alpha 9 Charlie.
Good, so you should just kind of use rudder on this one. You shouldn't really need any brake. Good. Continue your turn. We're going to pull up over there.
We have Lima.
Thank you.
Good. Keep coming right a little bit. All right. And once we pass this grassy area right here, we can make a left onto our ramp.
November 93 Yankee, you should see a Baron exiting the Atlantic ramp behind the Baron, continuing down to Atlantic.
Good. Just keep yourself pointed almost at that the nose of that last airplane.
Bravo taxi into Alpha.
November 325 to Quebec Telegram taxi to Alpha ramp. Turn
Good. Come
right
a little
at
bit
Bravo
more left.
2. Cross from 19er to Golf 4 and then Golf Delta.
All right, now swing it a little bit to the right.
Bravo 2, cross 19, Golf 4, Golf Delta.
A little bit more. And now a little bit more, like almost at your family.
Baron 9 Lima Charlie, did you start your taxi?
We're pulling out of the Bravo, onto the Bravo now.
Thank you.